Great. Good evening. It is today is October 7th. Can you believe it's already October? We are here at the Rotary Club of Motorcycling Rotarians, and I'll just take a moment. We have anybody want to chat about anything before we set our speaker in motion for this evening? I think you're all
I've got
quiet
a
today on purpose.
anniversary coming up on the 11th. I think it's 56 years.
Wow.
Wow,
Congratulations.
congratulations. That is
Is that,
fantastic.
is that congratulations to you and condolences to your wife?
Yeah, something like that.
That's
Managed to live through it.
Well, that is fantastic, and not
sure.
enough people can say things like that. So that's pretty cool. I get people who are surprised that I've been married 22 years, and they're like, "Wow!" It's like, yeah, it goes by very quick. It goes by very, very quick. So yeah, lots of interesting stuff with that. But if everybody's good, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to invite our speaker, Mr. Dodmead, who is going to present our cybersecurity yearly update.
Okay,
So take it away, Jim.
I'm going to share my screen here.
Please do.
Can can you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, got it. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me to speak on this important topic. My name is Jim Dodmead. I spent years working in cybersecurity and helping people, especially older adults, protect themselves from online scams and cyber threats. If you have any questions during the presentation, please interrupt me or save them till the end because I cannot see the chat. I'm going to send the handout and the presentation to Jerry so he can send it out next week. You might be thinking, why does this matter to me? Well, unfortunately, scammers target seniors. In fact, the FBI reports that older adults lose more than $3 billion every year to online scams in the US alone. But here's the good news. You don't have to be a computer expert to stay safe. Today, I'll share some simple, practical steps that will help you recognize scams, protect your information, and feel more confident online. Scammers often pretend to be from the IRS or Medicare or Social Security. They may call and say you owe money or that your benefits will be cut off tomorrow. Remember, government agencies don't make calls like this. They may also call and ask you if you've gotten your new Social Security or your new Medicare card. Well, I've already got mine. I just tell them I don't need another one. Another common issue is fake tech support pop-ups. You may have seen some of these where your machine pops up a big red window that says you have a virus. Those are fake. They tell you to call a number. Don't. That's a scam. They want your credit card so they can charge you a bunch of money for a problem that doesn't exist. And of course, you probably have gotten phishing emails, which are typically a fake message that look like they're from your bank or a family member. They want you to click a link. They want you to send some money, call a number. Does anybody have any experience with those?
I got one of those today.
I get 50.
Yeah.
Now I've gotten a few of those where they're, was it the McAfee?
Oh,
Your
sure.
McAfee is over,
They,
or
they
I
want you
forget
to
what the other
renew
one.
for $500.
Oh no, it's here's your bill. We already renewed it for you. So
Yeah,
well, go ahead and pay it because
Yeah.
you're on your own. No, I usually I found the addresses for I just forward them on to the companies with a phishing report.
sure. Good idea. Malware and spyware are hidden programs that can steal your information. When you go to public Wi-Fi, if you're not using a VPN, somebody that's on that network can see everything you do. They can see your passwords, they can see your logins, and they can steal them. So you have to be very careful when you go into like a coffee shop or an airport, and they can record all your passwords and things like that. Once someone has your social security or bank account info, they can open accounts in your name, especially if they have access to your email. Then they can even change your passwords. You may have gotten an email from a Puerto Rican prince or a Nigerian prince where you're going to win $25 million, you're going to inherit $25 million. Maybe you will, but I never did. The pitch is if you bite and you respond to it, you're going to have to pay a fee up front to get that $22 million. And then, of course, the 22 million is never going to come. Romance scams are very big too. Someone you meet online, they spend a lot of time cultivating the relationship. They want you to send money. I know people that have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars to these scams. And especially during disasters or um, certain times of the year, there are a lot of fake charities, or you may get a lot of contact for investment schemes, Bitcoin, or some other kind of new cyber currency that they want you to buy. So next time there's a world disaster, you have to be very careful and vet anything you're going to contribute to. You probably want to stick with known charities. A lot of scammers even have a script that they follow. And whatever they're pitching is going to be urgent. The local sheriff's going to come and arrest you, or your grandson's going to be thrown in jail in London, or your social security is going to be cut off. I get a lot of them that say my email accounts are going to be shut off tonight if I don't take some action. Click on this link so they can put some malware on my machine. So they make themselves look official with fake logos, email addresses, or caller ID that looks real. Caller ID can be spoofed for about 16 cents a call.
Sure.
So I can make it look like Jerry Jackson or Donald J. Trump is calling you, and it cost me 16 cents. They always want to, or they almost always try to get personal or financial information. They want your social security number, they want your Medicare number, they want a bank account number, a credit card number, and they like to use emotions. They try and scare you. They um, play on your emotional attachment to your family or friends. Excuse me, there's always a fake grandchild in trouble, um, or a romantic interest that needs some money. There was one I think I talked about last year was a virtual kidnapping, where when they spoof a phone number like your daughter's phone number, they can put noise in the background. They can put like screams and things like that and tell you that they're going to kill your daughter if you don't send $50,000. So that's to me that's one of the worst, but it happens to some people. Don't ever click on links you don't recognize or don't look right, or open attachments on emails. I think I showed you last year how to hover over a link in an email to see where that link really goes. So you need to make sure that if you're going to click on a link in an email, you need to make sure that that link is legitimate and it looks legitimate. Or you can always call the company and ask them if they sent you that email. Never give personal information over the phone unless you made the call and you're certain that you know who you're talking to. As I mentioned a couple of slides ago, you get these red pop-ups that say you have a virus, call support, and they're going to fix it for you. Those are typically resident in volatile memory. So if you can't close it, what you can do is you can hold down the power button for about 10 seconds on your computer, wait 30 seconds, turn it back on, and when you come back up, it won't be there because it went away when you reset. And if someone you know or you think you know wants you to send gift cards or transfer some money via wire, or wants you to provide your banking information, that's probably a scam, and you need to independently verify that that is legitimate. That's probably the best thing you can do on any of these things, is independently verify that whoever's calling is actually them. Never use the phone number that the person on the phone gives you. Go onto the phone book or go onto the web, pull the phone number for your sheriff or the Social Security office, and call them independently and verify what's going on. Be cautious about what you share online. Don't post your birthday or your full address. Check your privacy settings so strangers can't see your personal details. I told my children that I don't want them to associate themselves on like Facebook with me, because that's just another piece of information for somebody. If they were going to virtually kidnap them, they would know who to call, you know. So don't accept friend requests from people you don't actually know. I have some very attractive young women that want to be my friend, and they probably live in China. Use strong passwords or passphrases. Passphrases are a little easier. You can go up to 128 characters on a Windows password. So, and a space is a legitimate character for a password. Think of a sentence instead of a single word. If you want to practice typing, you can use the old quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog's back. Don't reuse the same password. If you keep reusing the same password, once they learn the password, they're going to have access to all your accounts. So, if remembering your passwords is tough, you can get a password manager. Or if that feels too technical, write them in a notebook and keep them in a safe place. Also, you should always update your computers and your phones and your tablets with the latest software. They're fixing the latest vulnerabilities. This is an interesting slide. A brute force attack is a repetitive attempt to try every possible combination of characters for a password. There are much more sophisticated ways to hack a password, but this is typically the last resort if nothing else works. You see, you got a column of the password type, the number of characters. Then you have how long it took in 2020 to break that password. Then you have a 2025 estimate of how much shorter that has gotten. The typical 8-character upper and lower case and symbols with numbers used to be 8 hours, now it's 2 minutes. So in reality, you probably should be using 12 characters. That's kind of a long password. So especially if you're using financial accounts, you should be using two-factor authentication where they text you with a number that you can enter. So if you can do that for your financial accounts, I think that's fairly effective. Not that it can't be beaten, but it makes it a lot harder. It makes it much more complicated. There are 3 factors for authentication. Something you know, like a PIN or a password, something you have, which might be a hardware token, or a cell phone where they can text you, or something you are, like a fingerprint or the iris of your eye. You always try and make sure you're doing two-factor authentication if it's an important account. There's also some discussion of a 4th factor, something you do, how you speak, how you walk, how you write. I think some of the bigger companies are now allowing you to use your voice to authenticate. All my financial institutions are now using the text. It's a one-time text-based, one-time time-based password. It's usually good for just maybe a minute or two. And that has drastically improved security for them. Also, a password manager is very helpful in preventing password reuse. I use 1Password. whose premise is that you only have to remember one password. I think somewhere in here I was talking about Bitwarden too, which I think is a free password manager. You should consider regular password changes, and you should always use a complex password. Whatever you do, don't panic. This happens to millions of people. You're not alone. If you think that you might be getting scammed, stop all communications, block the person, block the number, just hang up on them. You can report the scam to those two web pages. Not that I think they have time to pursue it, but you can also contact your local police or adult protective services, depending on the situation. Don't keep it a secret. Talk to a trusted friend or family member. Scammers rely on silence and fear to keep people trapped. For managing passwords, tools like Bitwarden or 1Password are good choices. You can also, at no charge, you can place a credit freeze with all three credit bureaus to prevent new accounts from being opened in your name. I have that on the three credit reporting agencies. The AARP Fraud Watch Network is an excellent free resource to see what's going on. And you may be able to sign up for scam alerts from your bank or other government agencies that will help you stay one step ahead. Does everybody have Nixle set up on their phone? National Information Exchange Law Enforcement, Nixle. I will add that. I'm going to send Jerry that handout. All you have to do is text your zip code to Nixle, and they will send you alerts from the local sheriffs, law enforcement. I also have next door, and our local sheriff provides descriptions of ongoing scams in the area, so you're aware of what's going on. This is probably one of the most important things, that if it doesn't feel right, hang up the phone. Don't give them any information. Call your children, call a friend, call the local sheriff, call someone, and tell them what's going on and get an opinion from them. Don't just give them your personal information without vetting what's going on. So does anyone have any questions? Or do you know of a scam story that you'd like to share?
I do have a question, uh, Jim. And I've seen a lot of ads lately for this title lock or something, where they say they can steal your title and all your equity in your home. How prevalent is that?
I don't know how prevalent it is. I can tell you that my local county clerk has a program where you can register, and if anybody tries to put anything on your title or change it, they'll notify you. They won't stop it, but they'll at least notify you so you can get law enforcement involved. But I have talked to other county clerks, and they're not doing anything like that. So I would ask my county clerk if they have that, and I would encourage them to set it up if they don't, because I think you should be aware if somebody's tampering with your deed for your home or something. So,
Thank you.
I have a
and
great story about this on the business level. So, for years and years, I have told people, don't click on things, don't click on things, don't click on things. That's my IT background that screams that at me all the time. I got an email from, for those of you who don't know, I run a property management company out of Aruba. And my reservations platform, I got what I thought was an email from them asking me to check something. And I did not think twice about it. And I clicked on it and immediately realized what it was. So I immediately changed passwords, got, kind of set up a whole bunch of security measures there. And I alerted the company, and at first they were like, oh, no, no, no. And then they went, oh, and they start, because apparently I was the first to report said issue. And what they started to do, this whoever was spoofing us, they were trying to set up my properties on a different platform. So this is some of the fraud you hear about with all of these booking channels. They were trying to set my properties up on one of the platforms that I currently don't use, and it got flagged immediately. And so, yeah, it is amazing when it can get anybody, and it got me on that one. Luckily, I caught it right away. But it is amazing how that happens today. Actually, Jim, it made me laugh because the number of phone calls, spam me phone calls I get on a daily basis is absolutely ridiculous. And one of the ones I've been getting is supposedly from American Express. And the really funny thing is, I don't have an American Express card. So I immediately do not answer it. And when I did a little research on it, they're like, oh, yeah, there's this big spam thing. And they're going out, they're trying to get information and all that. So it is really interesting and obviously a huge business.
well, it sounds like you took all the right action for sure. But I wanted to tell a story about a couple in California. They were having a child, and they were going to buy a $1.2 million house and get a 400K loan on it. Well, they had an $800,000 down payment, which they were going to transfer to the mortgage company. So they got an email with an account and an ABA number, and they transferred that money, and it went to some scammer in Singapore.
Hmm.
They lost all that $800,000, and now they're still living with his brother because they don't have any money to buy a place. That's like the saddest story I ever heard. So you really have to be careful, pay attention. Last time I refinanced my house, I called the credit union, and I told them I was concerned that I was going to get the right account to transfer it to. They thought I was overreacting, and then about a month later, they sent out this big notice about scams when you buy a house, So you just got to pay attention to what's going on. There's my email address, my phone number. If you ever want to discuss one of these scams or you think you're getting scammed, feel free to call. If I don't pick up, just leave a message and I'll call you back. But just take your time. Don't start transferring money or giving accounts out or anything like that. Just take a pause and make sure you know what's going on before you lose your money. So, any other questions? Okay, that concludes my presentation. I tried to simplify it. I think I was trying to make everybody a security engineer last year, and I tried to simplify it. I know I was scaring Keith every year, so
Actually, I think it was really good, Jim. This was a lot of helpful information. I like the way you did it. So thank you so much.
well, I think it's just something to refresh your memory of the things you should be doing, right?
And it is amazing the twists that they find, the loopholes, and the way, that housing title thing. I know I've seen the same commercials, Keith, and wondered that, you start to go, wow, that's pretty crazy. And then you do have a moment of, oh, that'll never happen.
Until it
And I mean,
does.
yeah, it does. And even in talking to friends who are in real estate, they have some very specific messaging that they even provide you when you're working with the mortgage companies about, if somebody calls and asks, or you receive an email, double verify. It's some pretty it's some pretty crazy stuff. And yeah, people go out and they wire off, hundreds of thousands of dollars without knowing. And it's pretty frightening. It can happen to anybody. That's the truth. It can really happen to anyone.
Well, I heard a lady talk, and she was a retired prosecutor, and she was talking to a group of cybersecurity professionals at a conference, and she said, "Y'all think you're not going to get hacked, you're not going to get scammed, but she said you're going to have an off day, or you're going to have a bad day, you're going to let your guard down, and that's when it's going to happen. So it can happen to anybody."
And the whole kind of taking advantage of the elderly. I had it happen with my mom, and it turned into such a huge blow up. And that's I tell people to be very careful when you're using things like Zelle. Zelle is the one that we've had the most issues with, and the most horror stories that I have heard have been around Zelle. And yeah, you have to be so careful when it really comes down to
I don't use
using these
Zelle.
things. Yeah. Oh, I don't. Mm.
Well, they have a scam where they send you money and they want you to send it back, and then they take more.
Yeah.
So
I've heard about that. I've just sort of once again, there's a thousand varieties. And yeah, I'm on WhatsApp. I use WhatsApp for my business and everything else. And it amazes me even there how many random people will message me, and try and talk to me. I block I block a lot of people. Let me tell you, I block a lot of people.
well, they just want to establish a relationship with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody wants to be your friend.
yeah, and they'll take a lot of time to build that relationship. Then there's going to start giving you investment advice, or they're going to try and get romantically involved with you. You know, it's just
Isn't that
something.
crazy?
Yeah.
So crazy.
So,
Well, thank you so much. And we'll definitely we'll get this presentation over to Jerry and get it sent out. That would, I think a lot of people can benefit not only from rewatching this meeting, but having that documentation, and even, sharing it. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. Anyone else? Anyone else have any other further questions tonight?
No, I was just gonna say I was looking at I don't know, YouTube or something the other day. There was a sales scam. You're selling something, they want to send you a check for more than what you want for the vehicle or whatever, and then they want you to pay the shipper to send it back. And it's like, okay, first of all, it's a scam check. If you look closely at it, it won't do anything. So you're sending money, they want you to send $2,500 or whatever to whoever to send your stuff So they're going, no, you got to pay the shipper before they'll come get it. Well, the shipper's never going to show up.
It's yeah, well, we see it a lot in once again, Facebook and things like that in the marketplace. If you're buying and selling parts. And I went through it myself because I have a rare motorcycle. I had a ton of stuff that I was trying to sell. And actually, I jumped through a lot of hoops with one buyer. And in the end, he was like, hey, this woman, she's spot on. He gave me a fabulous recommendation after the fact because he was like, no, if she's trying to sell something, she's a real deal. But so often you see people are like, oh, I sent money and I never got it, and I never got the parts, and then the person blocked me, and it's pretty awful. Well, I am going to say if there's nothing further this evening, then do I get a volunteer to do the four-way test to wind down our meeting? Okay, no volunteers, no. Up, hey Rory, would you take it for me, please?
Okay, four-way test of the things we think, say, or do.
Say and do.
First, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Truth.
Second,
Is
is it fair
Is it
to all
fair to
concerned?
all concerned?
Third,
Will it
will it build
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 goodwill and better
friendships?
friendships?
Fourth,
Will it be beneficial?
to all concerned?
Concerned.
And five,
And will it be-
will it be fun?
Will
it be
it
fun?
be
Well,
fun?
isn't there six? Well, will I get caught?
Yeah.
You got that one in there too. Well, thank you all so much for coming. Jim, thank you so much for your presentation. I really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a fabulous week. I will not be available next week because I have to go to Las Vegas.
Oh,
Oh,
I know some
no.
people are like, and you know what? I'm not excited about going to Vegas right now because I have a lot of stuff happening, but I have to go to a conference for a chunk of the week, and it's gonna, and I know, and it's not a fun trip. It's not the same way. So, but it will be fun because we're gonna make it fun. So thank you all so
exactly.
much. Thank you all so much, and I will talk with you all soon. Have a good evening.
Thanks
Right.
so much.
Guys.
Everybody.
Good night.
Jim?
Good night.
Right.